square left, vroom, chicane, woo, vroom, vroom, combined apex, vroom, vroom. G'day there, I'm Snake of Bacon and this is Moto Roader MC. It's a top-down racer, originally released in 1992 for the NEC PC Engine Super CD-ROM Squared. Or 2? I don't know, the 2's in superscript. Whatever, it's Moto Roader MC. Now you can play it without a really rare disc and a PC Engine Duo or an American Turbo Duo. Would work on that. Now, it's available digitally on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X Vertical Bar S, and Nintendo Switch. Here it is running on PS4. It is a 60 FPS game, but I have 30 FPS footage from the share button. Whatever, you get the idea. It's not an amazing graphical showcase, but it does very well capture the look of driving 1:64 scale cars around on a carpet. You know, one of those car city rugs or play mats? Now, if you grew up without one of those rugs, you weren't really missing out on anything. The bedroom floor is fine as it is, the rug's just a roleplay tool. But my point is, this game with its static screens could be ported to rugs, or you could print these tracks on A2 paper. It would look about the same. The gameplay would be different, of course. You'd have to imagine the racing and the missiles and all that. Anyway, that's not the point. This was a multiplayer game for 5 players originally.
5 simultaneous humans!
Not on this PS4 port, you can't have 5 controllers. Same with PS5 and apparently the Xbox versions as well, even though Xbox consoles support 8 controllers. The Switch version does allegedly have 5-player support if you're looking for that particular party trick. For those not in the unique position of needing an exactly 5-player game, 2, 3 or 4-player Moto Roader MC should be plenty of fun. I played through the game's cups alone, and while I enjoy the gameplay, there's not a whole lot of it for one person. After finishing any of the game's cups, which take about 5 minutes each, you get to see a little ending animation, and then end credits entirely in Japanese, and some cool pixel art of the game's cars. Wow, that's what the blue car looks like? How very futuristic. And the first time you make it to this end of the credits, you unlock Bat Roader, even if you didn't win the cup. You know, came second last. Still unlocked the game's one sole unlockable, the secret battle mode, which is exclusively multiplayer. Bat Roader, what a wonderful name, is a sumo type battle game. You push the other cars off the edge. 24 years before GTA 5 Online got a mode like this, and you know it's older than Crash Bash's Polar Push or Fusion Frenzy's sumo modes. This could actually be the original 4-player vehicle-based sumo game. I'm not really sure, but it's certainly a very early example. And very fun, probably. Can't really be sure until I've played it with a few other people. I didn't want to be stuck playing rounds of Bat Roader forever, so I paused. Wow! That's the pause screen. It has no options. But what an unnecessarily cool sound! Thankfully, if you press touchpad, you bring up the emulator's actual pause menu that lets you close the game and quickly reboot it. Which is good, that's a plus, that I don't have to hard exit the game to go back to the menu. Maybe it's more of a lack of a minus than a plus. But anyway, I only played one of the game's cups to unlock Bat Roader, and I still had 4 more to do. This is a good point to tell you. You can put in your own name on the screen. Every player gets their own name, and you don't just get 3-letter initials or 6 letters. You actually get 8. So if you have an 8-letter name like Brittany or Fernando or Nutrient, you're all set. The game's 25 tracks are divided amongst 5 cups: Circuit, City, Nature, Märchen, and Special. Yes, Märchen. That's the German word for fairy tale. It's also a Japanese loanword because Meruhen sounds better than fairy tale. Yeah, anyway. Like all German fairy tales, it has penguins for traffic lights and happy sunflower castles, and there's a purple penguin you can run over and he sort of spins around. It's all very happy and really, really bizarre. It's a sort of weirdness only seen in other 90s Japanese games. Space Invaders 95, Attack of the Lunar Loonies, Ninja Baseball Batman, Super Burger Time, and other really bizarre, colourful things. The other fairy tale tracks include this one around a hedge in some sort of fairy tale garden estate, a factory with a very chaotic intersection, Woody Road, which is a road that leads across the screen. It is not a closed circuit, it has warps at the edges. It's a bit hard to keep track of your car. It's a bit loud with the 4 boost pads constantly firing and making noises. It gets old, but oh well. And of course it has a chicane on ice. And lastly, the 5th Fairy Tale themed track is a pink trapezoid in space for no reason. That cup certainly went well. 1 point. Tracks don't need to be in Fairy Tale land or space to be interesting. The City Cup has plenty of great ones. This is Freeway. It has a simple shortcut and a very nice aesthetic design. Wheel Avenue is not as pretty, but it's a seriously good track. You've got 3 hairpins, or you can skip them by breaking through the wall onto the train track, which is of course extremely dangerous. Take note of how badly the yellow car gets it wrong. The yellow car entered the shortcut from the exit and made negative progress. Don't do that. Diane City has shortcuts, not so dangerous, but you still have to make decisions based on your confidence. Are you sure you can take the lower, shorter back straight and avoid the lumpy road obstacle? Or will you go the long way because it has a boost pad and is almost as fast but not quite? Same with the last corner. Cut through the wall or take the boost pad? Decisions. Donor Street, though, is proof that a track in a top-down racer like this doesn't need a gimmick to be good. Donor Street just has really nice turns. And it looks pretty, you know, the black and orange city night thing is fine, but it's just fun to drive around, to slide the car around these turns. The handling feels great. And I should mention, speaking of handling, if you don't like turning right and left, and if you're the kind of person that gets confused when you're looking at a map and the car's driving south and you don't know which way right and left are, with a single press of a button you can swap between left-right steering and point the way you want the car to go steering, whatever you should call it. I don't know, cardinal steering? You can practice your steering in the time trial mode. Also, this is a track I didn't show you before. This is track 1 of the Circuit Cup. It's called Circuit 1. Really, I just wanted to get better at Donor Street since I did so poorly my first time in the championship. Not that there's any need to, but it's a fun track to drive. The music is quite exciting as well. If I can turn your attention to my favourite detail about Donor Street before we leave, most of the crowd is clapping, except for the green person on the right. They're tapping their hands on the rail, just having a great time. I love what the animators are able to do with an 8x8 pixel person. Better yet, this track has pretty mountains and a cow! A moving cow! Does it moo though? I'm sure I remembered it mooing at some stage. Yes, it moos! Every cow should moo. I might as well show you the rest of the Nature Cup. There's a figure 8 on a beach. There's a track called Mount Jam, and you know that's got to be good. It's not to be confused with Mountain Jam by the Allman Brothers Band. Were that playing in the background, we'd need about 340 laps to hear it, and you can't change the number of laps in this game. It's just always 9. There really aren't many options. You can turn off collisions with other cars, and you can turn on or off a super slipstream option, and that's about it. There's no option to turn off the weapons, although turning off collisions might do that, but why would you want to turn off the weapons? The ability to fire missiles or drop bombs whenever you like with no need for an item box is great. And that's just part of the fun racing. It doesn't make it unfair or anything. If everyone has missiles and bombs all the time, go for it. This track's called Probe River. Probe River. The final track of the Nature Cup is a desert track called Desert. Desert is set in a desert, a desolate desert, and you can drive all the way around the outer rectangle, take a rocky, speedy shortcut, or drive through thick sand dunes or ergs or whatever they are in the middle, which is a short path but very slow because it's sand. Well, that's 4 cups done and you're still here, so now you get to see the weird part. The cup called Special. What is going on? There's a lot to take in here. Not just the fact that I'm racing around some strange machine connected to a twitching cyborg face, but the fact I'm racing in a game. A 1992 Japan exclusive top-down racing game that has been ported out of nowhere 30 years on by Ratalaika Games. The same Ratalaika Games that is well known for publishing hundreds and hundreds of very simple indie games that take about half an hour to finish and give away trophies like plumbers give away magnets. In fact, for this game, all you have to do to win the Platinum Trophy is start a race on each track. Not win, not finish, but start. So for Platinum difficulty, that's either a 0 or a 1 out of 10. If you have a PlayStation 5, you can win all the trophies again in a separate list. It's a shame there's no Vita version included. Not just so you could get the Platinum a third time, but because it would be fun to play this game on the go. People might look at you funny though. What, I'm racing little cars around on a woman's bed? It's just a thing you do. It was Japan. I wonder why the cars go under her head but over her foot. Like, I understand going behind her head, that's fine, that's in the foreground, but her foot shouldn't be in the background, that should be in front of the cars, it should be an obstacle. Oh well. Track 3 in the Special Cup is Shadow Red, inspired by Ridley Scott's Alien, of course. And why not? The whole theme of the Special Cup is why not? The programmers told the artists why not? Can I make a track out of a cyborg face? Why not? Can I just draw a woman on a bed and call it a track? Why not? Can we have a huge chimpanzee? Why not? We shall call it Saru Root, and it shall have its own music track. Excellent. That's our showpiece. Mario Kart has Rainbow Road, Motor Roader MC has Saru Root. And you know what? We've done tracks with 1 warp. How about we make a really difficult one with 6? 6 warps! 6 warps! My brain! Well, it is the 25th and final track of the game. It has every right to be the hardest. Once you've seen that, you've seen pretty much all there is to do, besides the Omake mode, Omake being Japanese for bonus. Your bonus in this case is car football, 1v1 or 2v2 with missiles and bombs. 3 different grounds, one with backwards goals, one with the same backwards goals and some obstacles, and one with a goal in the top right and one in the bottom left, sort of in the shape of a turbo. Plenty of fun, I'm sure, but it's 2 or 4 players only, not for 1 or 3 or 5. One of the best features of this port is one that I didn't discover until I was basically finished with this game. The touchpad menu not only gives you aspect ratio settings, but also pixel scaling, scan lines, and customizable CRT filters. They are really excellent options. It's much better than a simple scan line setting. You can even change the curvature of the screen and select a Trini Curve option to better match the look of a Sony Trinitron. They thought of everything. I really hope that when Sony adds PS1 games to PS Plus, that they think of doing something like this. Good CRT filters really add to the retro experience. In conclusion, Motor Roader MC was never considered a great game of 1992. Not in a year with Street Fighter II, Wolfenstein 3D, Virtua Racing. Even just looking at PC Engine CD games, this one was massively overshadowed by Tengai Makyo 2 Manjimura, a hugely ambitious multi-million-dollar RPG. Moto Roader MC, on the other hand, was probably never thought of much. At its release, it was probably seen as inferior to Moto Roader 1 and 2, as this game lacked a campaign and scrolling tracks. It was quite simple. Today, it's definitely an antiquated curio. It won't hold your attention for much more than half an hour unless you have other people to play it with. This is a work of art, as all games are. Many people worked for many hours to make the beautiful sprites, music and handling model. Films are art too, and we keep them safe in film archives and re-release them all the time on new discs and new streaming services. Games deserve the same treatment. On that note, dear Sega, port Scud Race already!
Let's play Motorola MC.